In this video, we'll look at a typical day in the life of an NPC in ancient Rome. Now, I'm sure most of you are familiar with the term NPC, but for those of you above the age of 35, here's a quick lesson in Zoomer lingo. In the world of video games, NPC stands for non-playable character, which is a character controlled by the computer rather than the player. While you can interact with most NPCs, their responses and actions are predetermined by the game.
My name's Trevor. What's yours?
But nowadays, it's commonly used by Zoomers to describe boring people with no personality or predictable behavior. Here are some typical characteristics of a modern NPC. Even if some of those characteristics apply to you, it doesn't automatically make you an NPC. You guys belong to an elite group of individuals who watch the dankest history channel on YouTube. Now take those funny-looking pills and join me on a trip to explore the world of ancient NPCs.
Are the time travel pills working?
Wake up. We are in Rome. Yeah, I know you passed out and your butthole hurts a little, but trust me, I have nothing to do with that. Okay, first of all, we have to find the house of an NPC. The majority of Roman NPCs resided in multi-level apartment complexes or tenement blocks called insulae. For the average Roman, a typical day began at sunrise around 4 or 5 a.m. Back then, Starbucks didn't exist, so there was no such thing as fancy avocado toast or overpriced coffee for breakfast. Instead, they would begin their day with a humble meal of bread and water. After that, they would usually go to their jobs. Common occupations for the working class included farming, crafting, building, or running small shops. Compared to our modern 9-to-5 work schedule, the Romans had a much shorter day, working only from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. After work, the NPC would most likely return home and have another simple meal of bread and water for lunch, or as we would call it, prison food. Don't worry, their meals were not always so meager. In the evenings, they would indulge in a grand feast. But I'll tell you more about that later. We must have been spotted. Don't let him escape.
Oh,
Damn, we lost him. But don't forget, he's just an NPC. There's only one place he could be. Regardless of their wealth, basically all Romans would spend their free time at the public baths. For just 2 bronze denarii, which is equivalent to less than a shitty cheeseburger at McDonald's, anyone could enter these luxurious facilities built with mosaic floors, marble walls, ornamental statues, and freaking indoor waterfalls. Depending on the size of the facility, you would find a variety of different areas inside a Roman public bath. Some common areas included the palestra, a gymnasium where people could do all sorts of weightlifting and gymnastics. It was usually located near the natatio, a big open-air swimming pool that was considered the main attraction of public bath complexes, mostly used for swimming laps or just hanging around with your friends. The indoor baths were like a spa area, with the main room being called the tepidarium. The remaining rooms in the spa area were either saunas or pools with varying temperatures, ranging from 10 degrees Celsius to over 50 degrees Celsius. Here is a quick little fun fact. The visitors didn't use soap to clean themselves because it was considered a luxury item at that time. Instead, they would have to rely on a worker at the public bath facility to oil them up and scrape off any dirt with small sickle-like tools called strigils. I just wanted to mention it because I came upon an article about the procedure, and the image reminded me of a scene from an 80s male-on-male adult film.
hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Alright, time to head to the dressing room and quickly snatch some tunics. We can't risk being spotted by the NPC again. It's almost 4 p.m, and after a long spa session with the boys, it's finally time for the main event of the day. Dinner, or as the Romans called it,
John Cena!
To be honest, Cena actually sucked for most NPCs. The average Roman was dirt poor and could barely afford a simple meal of porridge with some vegetables, but luckily one of our NPC's boys is actually a wealthy patrician who invited him over to his place for Cena. The patricians dined in a designated room known as the triclinium, which can be translated to 3 couches. It was typically found in the lavish homes and villas of the wealthy. Its defining characteristic was a square table surrounded by 3 slightly reclined couches. Of course, the guests were only served the most exquisite dishes the Roman cuisine had to offer. Although it was advertised as a dinner event, it was really just a social gathering to showcase the host's wealth. Some hosts would hire live musicians, others would hire exotic dancers. But this particular host wanted to do something special, a live performance of the biggest NPC opera of ancient Rome. Vinicius Dieselus in Celere et Furens.
Bro life is all about family and explosions.
Wow, this franchise even sucked 2,000 years ago.